June 30th? Hey Aiden, how are you?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. You are not muted, correct?
I'm not muted.
Okay, we're back. And I promise I will stop I'll take my headphones out when you listen, okay? So today we are going to talk about, and I think starting tomorrow, we'll have some more people on here. It won't be just you and I, so you won't be stuck just talking to me. But they're having a little trouble getting on. Okay, so today we're going to talk about prefixes again. This is the last day we'll talk about prefixes. We're going to talk about dis, miss, and non. Okay, and we're going to watch a video together. And then I talked to Miss Forsythe, and she's getting all of your lessons assigned. So if you had trouble yesterday, you will not have trouble after today, okay? Doing the lessons that I would like for you to do afterwards. Are you sure you're not muted, or are you just being awful quiet this morning?
Awful quiet.
I can't hear you.
Awful quiet.
Hold
Because
on.
I woke up an hour ago again.
What, baby?
I woke up an hour ago again.
I'm sorry. Okay, so are you gonna do math at 10, or are you gonna come back at 4? Do you know?
I'm doing both of the Zoom meetings at 9 and 10.
Okay.
So I can just get them done.
All right, I don't blame you. Okay, so we're gonna watch a video about dis, miss, and non. It's about 6 minutes. We'll watch it together. It's really very comprehensive. And then we'll move on to determining the theme. We're actually gonna watch a short video about that and then work several of those passages together. Does that work? Okay, let me take my little earbuds out. Let me get my share screen. I am outside again in Chicago. Tomorrow I will be back home, thank goodness. It won't be so loud. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you cannot hear or see.
Okay.
All right. This guy is not extremely interesting, but he was the most comprehensive. That's why I decided to do it. Okay. Oh, this one isn't bad. Hold on, I want to go back. Nonfiction. What is nonfiction?
Real.
Real. Good job. Okay, so what do you think non means?
Not.
Not.
Or no.
No, you're right. You're perfect. Okay, let me show you the. This is. I think this next one is kind of the. I don't know why I'm whispering. Just you and I. All right, hold on. Let's see what this one is. Okay. I pulled these up last night and watched them. No, I don't. Maybe this one. Maybe it's this one. Lots of noise in the city.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Today, let's learn and review the prefix dis. To recap, a prefix is a letter or a group of letters placed at the beginning of a word in order to change that word's meaning. So, you take your prefix, you take your root word, you add them together, and it creates a whole new word. Let's look at some new words with the prefix dis. If I take dis and add it to the root word infect, I now have the word disinfect. Similarly, if I take the prefix dis and add it to the root or base word like, I create the new word dislike. But wait, why so sad? Oh, we have new words, but you don't know what they mean? Well, without understanding their meaning, words are useless. So let's figure this out. Dis, as in disinfect. Well, I can find the root word infect. That's yucky. If something is infected, it's got germs.
We know about that.
Hey, wait, I've heard that word disinfect. Like when you clean or use wipes to disinfect things, it gets rid of the germs and the yuckiness. Okay, so now dislike. I see the root word like. I know what that means. But if I dislike something, I'm pretty sure that means I don't like it at all. Oh, I see now. This is a prefix that changes a word's meaning to the opposite of or not. That makes sense. Look at these root words that you can add the prefix dis to. Satisfied, respect, please, able, agree, and honest. Right now, I encourage you to pause this video, add the prefix dis to these words, and even try some out in sentences to practice their new meanings.
Well, hold on. She took the words away. Give me a second. All right. Okay. So, satisfied means you're happy. What would dissatisfied mean?
Bored, something like bored.
Bored, not happy. Okay. What about respect? Respect means that you look up to someone. What would disrespect mean?
Don't look up to anybody.
Good job. Please, what they're talking about is you're happy with something. You are pleased. If I am displeased, what would that mean?
Not pleased.
If I'm able, means I can do stuff. What does disable mean?
Paralyzed. Can't do it. Paralyzed, can't do it.
Okay, good job. If I agree, that means I'm listening to you and I agree with what you're saying. What does disagree mean?
Not agreeing.
Right, okay. And honest, I'm an honest person. Sometimes people say I'm too honest because I tell you exactly what I'm thinking, or I do the right thing. What does dishonest mean?
Not honest and lie.
Okay, so give me a sentence. Pick one of these words up here and make me a sentence with it, please.
Agree. I disagree with my brothers and sisters sometimes.
That's pretty much normal. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 little brothers and 1 older sister. And I have one of my brothers is my twin.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So I'm sure there's quite a few disagreements in your house, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's go.
To practice their new meanings. So, did you do it? Well, let's check and see what you got.
Yes, we
Do
did.
your answers match mine? My first one is dissatisfied, which means the opposite of satisfied. So if you're dissatisfied, you're probably not happy at all. Another one is disagree. If you agree with something, you have the same view or opinion, but when you disagree, it's the opposite. So so I wouldn't share the same views and opinions about something when I disagreed. Here all day going over new words and their meanings when we add dis to the beginnings, but I would hate for you to fall asleep. So instead, here are a few main things to remember about the prefix dis. First thing to remember, dis is a prefix, which means it can be added to the beginning of many words. Remember, I say many because not all words make sense when using the prefix dis. And second, when we add the prefix dis to the beginning of a word, it changes that word's meaning, and now it means the complete opposite. So, don't get discouraged anymore because now you know all about the prefix dis.
Okay. One more, and then we will move on. I don't want to bore you too much. Hold on.
Okay.
So dis means what?
Not no, like you can't do it, like that.
Means the opposite, okay? And that learning these prefixes and then tomorrow we'll start suffixes will help you when you're reading figure out what words mean. It'll help you with reading comprehension. Okay. Last one, and we might just pop through this one. I don't know. Let's look. Oh, darn it. That's the one we just saw. Hold on.
It's the
Oh,
middle one, I think.
well, maybe. Hold on. Oh.
Okay, Room 21 Rockstar. So today we're going to look at some prefixes. Obviously, we've already talked about the fact this year that when a prefix is added to the beginning of a word, it changes something about that word in some way, shape, or form. Today we're going to look how the prefixes really have an influence on the addition to the word. And then we're also looking at how to take that base word off, the main part of the word to which a prefix is added.
I'm going to
Okay,
send
so the
that
spelling of the
a
base word does
screenshot
not
of that.
change
I'm
when
going
a
to send that
prefix
to
is added.
you.
So here are the 4 prefixes that we're going to work on today. Okay, un meaning not, dis meaning not, and miss meaning bad. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of examples, and we're going to go forth there. So
We're going to go for
if I
miss.
decided to connect my Apple TV last night, that basically means that I decided to take that Apple TV, disconnect that opposite of. Okay, so
He likes to
as
talk a
in
lot.
this example right here. Let's move on and look. Okay, guys, now let's look at this sentence here. Okay, follow along.
Okay.
In
Hold on.
un, the prefix un to necessary. Washington, D.C. trip. Choice of what food they wanted to order for their award. Okay. The students were decisive in their choice of what food they wanted to order for the reward. Maybe we're talking about March Madness here, but nonetheless, okay, let's hone in on the word decisive. Now, first of all, let's think about what that word means before we go any further. What does decisive mean using context? Well, I see the parents were informed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago. Okay, so what I want us to hone in on is the word informed. Now, if the parents were informed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago, using context, I know informed must means if they knew about it 4 weeks ago, they must have had knowledge of it. So I see information in the word informed. So that means they had knowledge of, right? Now, if I take the prefix miss, okay, and add that onto the front of inform, I now get a word that looks like misinformed. Okay, so if the parents were misinformed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago, that means that some type of information was wrong somewhere along there. Okay, so once again, misinformation or misinformed, they didn't quite understand. And I thought this picture was interesting. M is for misleading. Here's another word with miss. This cat's looking at this dog that put on a mask that is a cat, and the cat's like, what? So that is kind of misleading because that's really a dog underneath. Okay, so the final thing now I want you guys to do is to move on to those crystal ball words using the knowledge of the prefixes that we just.
Oh, Miss Rainer, you might hear noise outside my house.
Hold on, because I can't hear you. Because I guess I'm partially deaf. Hold on. What'd you say, sweetie?
My sister has friends outside of our house for some reason, so you might hear them.
That's okay. I'm good. All right. So we talked about, let me ask you this. What does the prefix miss mean?
Not.
Okay. What does dis mean? You remember?
Wait, that's bad or badly?
Okay. And what about non?
Not.
Okay. Opposite of. All right. Okay. Let us go on. Now, do you have any questions about the prefixes?
No.
All right. So we're going to move on to theme. Give me just a second. We're going to watch a short video on theme, and then we are going to practice together.
Okay.
How old's your sister?
She's turning 13, and I'm turning 12.
Cool. Okay.
Enjoy this movie and visit brainpop.com for much more.
I love Brain Pop.
Oh, also, though, this is a Star Wars. This is
What?
Star Wars.
What, sweetheart?
This is Star Wars. This is Star Wars themed.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You like
Hopefully
Star
it's
Wars?
not copyrighted.
Huh?
It probably has some noises from Star Wars.
We'll see.
I'll take the R2 unit.
Can you hear the video?
Come on, Moby. How many different takes do you need? No, I don't want to switch roles. Dear Tim and Moby, how do I figure out the theme of a story? And why is finding the theme so important anyway? From Bob A. Thanks for the questions, Bob. A theme is a central message or idea woven into the action of a story. Themes give a story meaning by linking the fictional world with our own. They comment on issues from our everyday lives and from the wider culture. They're a huge part of what makes films and literature so fascinating. If you've ever read a fable, you already know a simple type of theme. Fables always include a moral, a lesson about life. Take the tortoise and the hare. The hare is always bragging about how fast he is, so the tortoise challenges him to a race. The hare is so confident, he stops to take a nap halfway through. Slowly but surely, the tortoise passes the hare and wins. It might seem like the story is all about speed and running. The larger message is that patience and determination pay off. The race is used to communicate a lesson that can be applied to real life. Themes are usually more subtle in movies and novels. It's easy to be wowed by spaceships, aliens, and princesses, and those are essential parts of the Star Wars story. But to find the themes, we have to read between the lines. Well, not literally. We have to look for patterns or ideas that come up frequently. The repetition of a word or phrase is a good sign you're onto a theme. We call those recurring words or images motifs. The Force is one big motif in Star Wars. We learn more about its symbolic meaning each time it's mentioned. Well, like at the beginning, the Force seems to be just a magical power. But over the course of the series, we learn that it's much more than that. It's a universal energy that connects all living things, and a spiritual balance between light and darkness. Themes are often set up as pairs of opposing ideas, like with the Force. At its most basic level, it represents the struggle between good and evil, but it's also about nature versus technology, the tension between instinct and logic, or the choice between freedom and destiny. And they sound complicated, but those themes are all right there in the movie. We find them by analyzing the story elements. For example, we can examine lines of dialogue, what the characters say. Like when Darth Vader calls the Death Star a technological terror. Then he says the colossal weapon is nothing compared to the power of the Force. His comments set up technology and nature as opposing ideas. Plot, the action in a story, is another great place to hunt for themes. Okay, Moby-Wan, I will use the Force. I will trust my intuition. We did it, R2. We destroyed the Death Star. Right, Luke is successful because he relies on the Force. His natural instincts are victorious over destructive technology. Well, in a great story, all the elements work together to support the themes. Look at the settings in Star Wars, where the action takes place. The Death Star is massive and spotless. Like a lot of advanced technology, it feels sinister and cold. Compare that with the Rebels' ships. They look and feel lived in, like a home. Even the costumes support that contrast. Stormtroopers wear masks, and their uniforms are totally rigid. They look more like machines than people. Compare that to the Rebel outfits, what we good guys wear. Our clothing is loose, comfy, and made of organic materials. Well, appearance is a key part of characterization. That's all the ways a character is portrayed, how he looks, speaks, thinks, and acts. Remember when we first meet Moby-Wan? He lives a simple life, not surrounded by gizmos and gadgets. He's a respected Jedi Master, but unlike the bad guys, he's humble and has a sense of humor. Yeah, those themes really resonate in today's high-tech world. Anyway, let's get this place cleaned up. Dad's gonna be home soon. What? You are my father? No! 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 Visit us at brainpop.com for more on this.
Okay, that was kind of fun. All right. So now I am going, you said you prefer for me to read, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to read, and then we're going to see if we can figure out what the theme is. They're just little short passages. And, okay, so they say the definition of theme is like the filling of a story. It's what it's about. It's not just like a part of it. It's the whole thought throughout the whole thing. It's the hidden message. Okay. So let's look. Tina was not in the mood. Can you see the passage I'm talking about?
Yes.
Tina was not in the mood to be helping her mom paint her bedroom. However, her mom told her that if she wanted hot pink bedroom walls, she would have to help. The main problem was that Tina's mom was such a perfectionist that it would take forever. Tina asked if they could split the room in half, with each of them painting 2 walls. To her surprise, her mom agreed. Tina didn't waste any time with her 2 walls, except for a handful of mistakes where her roller of paint hit the ceiling. She was pleased with how nice her 2 walls of wet paint looked. Her mom, who was just finishing her first wall, told her she could go to a movie with her friend as promised. Kat, want to listen too? Okay.
Yeah.
After the movie, Tina invited her friend to see her new hot pink colored room. When she walked in, she couldn't believe what she saw. In front of her were 2 walls that looked just as she imagined they would. Those were the 2 walls her mom had painted. The 2 walls she had painted, though, didn't look so hot. Instead of being a bright, solid pink, she saw several areas where she had not used enough paint. so bits of the previous white wall color showed through. Tina couldn't deny the fact that she would have to apply another coat of paint to the walls she had done. So what do you think the theme is?
Slow down and you'll get it right the first time.
Excellent. Did you read the answer key?
I just thought of that on my own because that's what everybody in my family likes to rush, and we have to do it again.
Good job. That's right. Do things first. Do things right the first time. Very nice. You're super smart. Okay.
And my cat likes to play with the computer cord.
All right.
the
As long as
charger.
well, good. As long as he doesn't disconnect. All right. Let's do another one. Okay.
Okay.
I am so proud of you. That was exactly right. All right. What is the theme of the narrative below? It was the day after Halloween, and Mason was going through his stash of treats. He was sorting his favorite pieces of candy, the chocolate bars, from the duds, like the Tootsie Rolls. His twin sister, Madeline, entered the room and asked if she could have one of his chocolate bars. No way, he responded. This candy is all mine. Besides, don't you remember when you said you were going to stay home with Mom to hand out candy this year, and how I warned you that I wasn't going to share any of the candy I got with you? Geez, Madeline replied, I just asked for one piece. Then she walked away. Mason knew what would happen when his mom got home. She would make him share half of his candy, favorites included, with Madeline. He wasn't about to let that happen. He then ate every single one of his favorite chocolate bars. By the end, he didn't feel so good. In fact, within a few hours, he was very sick and found himself regretting his decision. So what do you think is the theme, the overall theme of this?
Always share with brothers and sisters.
Share. And what happens if you don't share sometimes? You can have what kind of consequences?
Bad.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll tell you a story about my kids. They are 28 and 26. And when they were younger, when we would get a pizza, do you know what those little turkeys would do? They would go through and lick the pieces they wanted so the other one wouldn't get them. Anyway, all right.
Choco chunk.
What?
Choco chunk. It's
Choco chunk. Oh, so cute. So
My
cute.
dad said we like to bring the kittens in here to play, but our dad says we can't like show them in front of the camera and stuff since we just got them. But one looks like a baby lion cub.
Mm-hmm.
One is just all black, and he looks like a baby bat.
Oh.
So we called the black one Black Sabbath, but we just call him Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
And then we called the lion cub one. We called him Simba.
Simba. Oh, I love that movie. Did you see the action one? Did you see the real life one?
No.
Not yet? Okay. All right. Have you seen the animated? You've seen the animated one though, correct?
Yeah.
I love
We
it.
do have Disney Plus, so we can watch it.
So does my daughter. All right. This is going to be the last one. And this one, let's see, which one do we want? All right, let's read about a bike, okay? The first time Justin saw the bike, he knew he wanted it. It had blinking lights all along the wheel spokes. They were sounds pretty cool. They were solar activated lights, so when he rode it to school during the day, the lights would get their charge. He had visions of riding it in the evening and being admired by all the other kids in the neighborhood as his wheels glowed and blinked as he rode past them. I know, he reasoned to himself, my parents will tell me that I already have a bike that gets me around fine, but that's a hand-me-down from my older brother, Chris, and I deserve something new every once in a while. I can convince them. Okay, so he didn't have the bike yet. All right. He took a moment to look at the price tag. The bike's price was $500. He gulped. It might take some work to convince his parents at that price. On his way home from the store, he thought of arguments that might persuade them to buy the bike for him. By the time he arrived home, he felt confident that he would be successful. He walked in the door and heard his parents talking. They were worrying together about how they were going to cover the cost of the unbudgeted car repair. Justin quietly stepped back outside, climbed on his old hand-me-down bike, and rode down the street. It may not be fancy, he thought to himself, but it gets me around fine. What do you think the theme of that one is?
Be happy, be grateful of what you already have, because something else might come your parents' way and they might not have enough money to afford it.
I think right there, the very first thing you said, be grateful for what you had, is the theme wrapped up right there.
Oh, and also the fire truck sounds, we hear them a lot because we live like a few miles down from a fire department.
Oh, you're hearing the fire truck right here, the one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Somebody else talking?
Yeah, that's my Benjamin. Be quiet.
Hey, well,
Be quiet.
Hey, well, at least I'm younger and I'm in 6th grade.
Hey, not cool. Okay. All right. So, do you want to discuss theme anymore?
No.
You want to discuss prefixes anymore? Do you want to? What, baby?
Before we got out of school, Miss Hassel, we actually got done with everything.
Oh, I know. I'm just doing what they're asking me to do. I know you've probably gone through all this because Miss Hassel is amazing. All right. So when you get a chance, I'll see you back at 10, which won't be long. And when you get a chance, you need to do your I Ready lessons today, okay?
Okay.
All right, sweetie. I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye.
Bye.